Hi YouTube, and hello to the urbanagriculturehub.ca. It's Angela here again from the Mason Street City Farm, and today we're going to talk about making actively aerated compost tea. I'm really excited about where compost tea has come in the last 10 years. I've been brewing it on and off for the last 10 years. I've been brewing aerated compost tea, and I've been brewing non-aerated compost tea. And the school of thought around compost tea has really changed a lot in the last 10 years, and that's largely due to the work of one woman named Elaine Ingham, who comes at making compost tea from a very science-based background. She has a really deep understanding of the soil food web, and the result has been some really simple basic recipes to making compost tea that result in a balanced fungal and bacterial population within your finished product. So what compost tea is, it's the liquid result of combining dechlorinated water or rainwater, active finished compost, microbial foods, and oxygen. And what is in that finished product is a massively huge population of bacteria and or fungus. You can brew for different types of results within your finished product that you can then apply to the leaves of your plants, or you can apply it directly to the soil. When you're applying it as a foliar spray to the leaves of your plants, you are helping to deter or detract any pests or disease from taking hold on the leaves of your plants. When you apply it right to the leaves, all of those bacteria will basically occupy the skin of the plant to such a degree that there isn't any room left for the disease or the pest to take hold. And when you apply it as a soil drench right to the soil, it is just helping to proliferate and breed a healthy soil food web within the ground, within your garden. So let's just take a little walk through about how in Victoria, BC, with how they treat the water. If you don't have rainwater, and you need to dechlorinate the water, there's something that you need to know about the water in Victoria, and that's that they treat the water with something called chloramine. And just letting the water sit for 24 hours or bubbling it for about 45 minutes, that can dechlorinate your water, but you're still left with the ammonia. So chloramines is a chemical combination of chlorine and ammonia. So what's left in the water is ammonia, and you need to get that out of there for the beneficial bacteria and fungus and microorganisms to really be able to breed without any detrimental effect. So what you need to do is add something called humic acids, and they will bind with the ammonia in the water and allow for the compost tea brewing to have a positive experience. So this here is our humic acids, and so for today, I don't really need to add them to my mix because I have rainwater, but if you do need to add humic acids, if you're using tap water in Victoria, BC, you just want to use about 1 tablespoon of these here. Now I'll take you through the foods that we're going to be feeding our bacteria and or fungus today. Today we're going to be making a balanced a balanced bacterial and fungal compost tea. Mostly for vegetable gardens, what you're wanting to make is a bacterially dominated compost tea. And this is because in our gardens, we're really wanting to protect against a lot of different bacterial diseases. There are fungal diseases that affect the vegetable garden, but for the most part, we're wanting high bacterial populations within our soil system and on the leaves of our plants. If you are wanting to brew a tea for trees or shrubs, that's where you're wanting to do a bit more of a fungally dominated compost tea. But we're going to be doing a balanced fungal and bacterial tea today because I've got clubroot in my soil, and I also want to provide high bacterial populations. Okay, so this here is our liquid seaweed. So this is great for adding some nitrogen and also just adding some foods for our bacteria. Just need to put a little bit in there. I'll have exact portions in the recipe that will be underneath the YouTube video and also on the urbanagriculturehub.ca forum. We have fish emulsion as well for our bacterial microbes. And then we have unsulfured blackstrap molasses. This is really great for sugars for our bacteria. So we add that in here. And if you notice, I am adding my foods first. That's really changed actually just in the last couple of years. You want to be, and normally I would be bubbling right now as well, but this is for our aquaponic system that we're going to be building soon, and it's just really loud. So normally I'd be bubbling my system right now, adding my foods, then adding my compost afterwards. So then also we have here is some oats. Oats are a fungal food as well as humic acid, so I will be adding a little bit of humic acid as well today. So our fungal foods typically they're not liquid, they have a surface area because fungus really needs to attach to something to grow. So I'm just going to be using about half of these oats here to put into my mix here. And then you really don't need much humic acids at all. What I have here is about a tablespoon. There we go. And then lastly, we have our rich, active finished compost. And I'll add that in as well. And another sort of school of thought that has changed in the last couple years is to not use a bag, not put it into a tea bag to brew your tea, because then we don't have to worry about any sort of anaerobic pockets within our mix. The compost is just freely floating throughout the whole mix, and all of the bacteria and fungus have easy access to all of the foods that we have in here for them. So at this point, what we want to do is we want to turn on our bubbler and let it brew for, because of the tubing that we have here, it's we want to probably let it brew for about 48 hours, no more. We want to make sure that the water-soluble nutrients are extracted. We want to make sure that all of the bacteria and fungus have access to all of their foods and breed. And then it will get to a point where the populations have peaked and there won't be enough oxygen anymore, and we need to use that. So for this bubbler that I have, it's one tube that provides really big bubbles throughout my mix. It's about a 48-hour peak. I can tell by the smell of it, it's usually quite sweet, and I won't really have that foamy gas that starts. Once you have that foamy top layer of gases being released, it's definitely time to turn it off and get your compost tea out into the garden. And there are some bubblers out there that you can buy. There's one called KIS, Keep It Simple Compost Tea Brewer, and it's scientifically proven within 12 hours that you have a finished compost tea to use in your garden. And it's great if you have access to that, awesome. But if not, because I don't have that perfectly even amount of oxygen going through my bubbler at all times, I give it about 48 hours and then I get it right out into the garden. And you can't store it if you can't use it right away. Like, you don't really want to store it another 48 to 72 hours beyond that, because you will start getting some anaerobic pockets within your compost tea that can be detrimental to your garden. And I think that that's all we have to say about today. I'm going to turn this bubbler on now. And if you have any questions about the recipe that I have, or if you want to share any of your own recipes, that would be great. And I look forward to hearing some more about your exciting compost tea recipes. Take care, everyone. Bye now.